Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is the game preview. Everton taking on Luton tomorrow afternoon at Goodison Park. We are back at Goodison after 2 away games on the bounce, 2 away wins on the bounce. When was the last time we were able to say that? It's been quite some week to be an Evertonian so far, with wins against Brentford in the Premier League and of course Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. And is it possible that Everton could top off our week by turning up tomorrow afternoon and putting a similar performance in to that performance against Aston Villa and beating a Luton Town side that very much are there to be beaten without disrespecting them at all? Luton currently sitting 18th in the Premier League table, 5 games played, 1 draw, 4 defeats, only 1 point of course. They have a goal difference of -8, scored 3 goals and conceded 11. The draw was actually in their most recent Premier League game. They drew at home against a 10-man Wolves side to pick up their first Premier League point of the season. They did lose to Exeter City away from home, a 10-man Exeter City side in the Carabao Cup earlier in the week. Obviously, their results prior to that, losing to Fulham away from home, losing to West Ham United at home. They lost to Chelsea 3-0, which tells you everything because Chelsea are terrible at the moment. They've lost to Brighton as well. They beat Gillingham in the Carabao Cup, to be fair, in the second round. But as Premier League goes, obviously, they haven't had a great start to this season. 1 point in 5 games isn't ideal for them. It's not too dissimilar to Everton's position in the Premier League. Obviously, the win against Brentford being our only win of the season. Prior to that, we had also only drawn one of our games, losing the others. So it's not like there's a huge difference between where Everton are in the table and where Luton Town are, but there is definitely seemingly a general consensus around Luton from, pretty much every football fan. And I'm not just saying this to disrespect them, but there seems to be a consensus that, they might not be quite good enough to stay in this division. They might not be quite good enough to survive, the drop this season. And there's almost, it's strange really, I can't remember a time before a season had even started, before the ball had even been kicked, we were having conversations about certain teams almost certainly being relegated because they're not good enough. Luton, were one of those teams, and Sheffield United as well this season. Before the ball had even been kicked, you were hearing people sort of talk about those two teams as being guaranteed sides to go down, ultimately because, their squad size and the quality of their playing staff just isn't quite at that Premier League level yet. And obviously it's very early days and Luton could turn it round. They could have a really good run at home at Kenilworth Road, obviously very traditional ground, old school ground, going to be a difficult one to go to. And if they can get a decent run together at home, then who knows, maybe they'll pick up enough points to be able to stay in the division. But they certainly haven't had the start of the season that they would have wanted, and this is very simple for me. It's up to Everton to turn up tomorrow and win this game. Now, I would be sitting here saying the same thing had Everton had just lost the last 2 games. If Everton had lost to Brentford and Everton would have lost to Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, I'd still be sitting here saying that we absolutely have to win this game of football tomorrow. I said a couple of weeks ago, the games against Luton and Bournemouth at Goodison Park are 2 of the most important games of our season because Everton simply have to get 6 points from both of those games. Now, I said that before the Brentford game, so you might be sitting there now thinking, well, Cam, can we afford to not win one of those games because we've beaten Brentford? The answer to that is no. The Brentford result was absolutely fantastic. It was an unbelievable performance. It was a brilliant result, and it was a surprise to all of us. But that doesn't mean that we can now turn up at Goodison against one of these 2 sides and, afford to not win that game because we've beaten Brentford. No, the Brentford result was an added bonus. The expectation for me, certainly, is still to be able to beat Luton Town and Bournemouth at Goodison Park. And I'm not saying it'll be an easy game tomorrow, because it won't be, because no game in the Premier League is easy. Luton have got a couple of players that have got Premier League experience. They've obviously got Ross Barkley in there, who Evertonians know so well. I'm sure he'll start for them tomorrow and get a lively reception, we'll say. They've got Marvelous Nakamba, who's played in the Premier League before, to Heath Chong, of course, from Manchester United, Carlton Morris. They've obviously got Elijah Adebayo as well. So, they've got a number of players in there that have a little bit more Premier League experience than maybe some of their other players. Sambi Lokonga, who I think is on loan from Arsenal, being one of them. But the expectation is for Everton to turn up tomorrow and to win this game and to win it relatively comfortably as well. Now, I can't wait to get to Goodison Park tomorrow, and that is not something I've said for a long, long time. Partly because I missed the last game against Arsenal, as I'm sure you all know, because the Premier League decided to change it last minute. But also because I can't remember the last time I went to a game at Goodison Park and Everton were coming off the back of two really, really impressive wins. It's been years since I've sat in that boozer before the game and thought about the game coming up and thought, you know what, we're coming into this in some good form here. We've won a couple of really difficult games on the spin, and that's exactly how I'll be feeling tomorrow. The wins against Brentford and Aston Villa are huge for the confidence of this team. Even though the Aston Villa game wasn't in the Premier League, and if it was of course in the Carabao Cup, it's still absolutely massive for the confidence of these players and the confidence of this manager going into this tomorrow. And Luton will be looking at Everton thinking, this is probably the worst time we could have played them. Maybe a week ago, Luton will have looked at this game and gone, do you know what, maybe we can get something out of Goodison Park. Everton aren't particularly great there at the moment. They've not won a game so far. Now, 7 days later, they'll be looking at it thinking they're coming off the back of two big wins. The fans were buzzing, on Wednesday evening against Villa. I'm sure the atmosphere will be absolutely booming tomorrow at Goodison Park. And the expectation from, I think, the majority of us is that we will turn up and we will win this game, and the players will give us a performance that we deserve, because although the last two performances have been fantastic, and they have been fantastic, and the results have been great, unfortunately, we haven't done that enough. Well, we haven't done that enough in general, but we certainly haven't done that enough at Goodison Park recently. Our record at Goodison Park in the last 2 years or so is absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And considering Goodison has always been, the sort of the thing that when you speak about Everton Football Club, you talk about Goodison Park, it's a hard place to go, it's a bear pit, it's difficult, very few teams can go to Goodison Park and get results, etc, etc. We used to judge our seasons based upon how well we'd be able to do away from home, because we always knew we'd do well at Goodison. We always knew we'd beat the majority of the sides in the league at Goodison, and we'd put up a fight against the top teams. Now, our form at Goodison Park is absolutely shocking, and I'd arguably be more confident going into this game if we were away from home than we are at home, because of how bad we've been at Goodison Park. We've obviously already lost two extremely winnable games at Goodison this season, against Fulham and Wolves. So for me, no, we can't afford to drop points in either of these next two, because we've beaten Brentford, and that was maybe a result that we didn't expect. I said when we lost to Fulham and when we lost to Wolves, we now need to win two games that we don't expect to win. Brentford is one of them. We didn't expect to win that. We've won that. We now need to win another game that we haven't expected to win in order to make up for those defeats against Wolves and Fulham. Now, Luton is not a game we don't expect to win. We expect to win this one, so we absolutely should be winning it tomorrow. And again, that's no disrespect to Luton, and I'm not saying that Luton should be overlooked or it'll be a piece of piss or it'll be a walkthrough. It won't be. But Everton need to win this game tomorrow, and they need to win next week against Bournemouth as well, because we have far too many times over the last 2 years, and it's no coincidence that we've been in relegation battles over the last 2 years, but far too many times have we lost very winnable games at Goodison Park, games that you should be turning up and you should be winning. Nobody expects us to turn up at Stamford Bridge and beat Chelsea 3-0. Nobody expects us to turn up at Anfield or the Emirates or Old Trafford and win comfortably. But what we do expect is to be able to turn up at Goodison Park against the teams that are, let's not even be disrespectful to Luton and say, poor teams, etc., because I'm fully aware that Everton are within that category of not very good teams at the moment, and I'm aware that 2 results doesn't change that. But, Luton are a side that will be in and around where we are come the end of the season, and I firmly believe Bournemouth will be a side that will be in and around where we are at the end of the season as well. So, not even talking about how good or how bad those sides are, they are our competition this season, and therefore we need to be beating them at home. If Arsenal have got any chance of winning the league, then they're going to have to beat Manchester City at the Emirates in a couple of weeks' time. And if they don't do that, then it's obviously advantage Manchester City. And it's the same situation here. Everton need to be winning these games against sides that ultimately will be in and around the same position as we are come the end of the season, and we've already lost 2 games against 2 of those sides, in my opinion, and drawn, another game against another one of those sides away from home. which means we can't afford to have any more slip-ups, and we need to turn up tomorrow and we need to win. Now, the confidence will be booming, of course it will. The players are coming off the back of 2 fantastic wins. The manager has got it spot on in his last 2 games, and the fans are going into this one with much more confidence than what they had 7 days ago. You know, I wasn't in that pub before the Arsenal game, but I can guarantee you there wasn't many people that were optimistic whatsoever about Everton getting a result, even though we've got a really good record against Arsenal. I can tell you tomorrow, when I'm sitting there at 12 o'clock and we're talking about the game and we're talking about how confident we are, I think a lot of Blues will be looking at this one thinking, yeah, I'm confident we can go and win this. And do you know what? How nice would it be if we just turned up tomorrow and we consoled the game and we perform like we did against Villa, or we perform like we did against Brentford, and we just go and win this game comfortably. We completely take it away from Luton's hands in the opening 20-25 minutes, and we just go and win. Again, I'm not even saying a huge scoreline, just go and win 3-0. 2 or 3-0 comfortably, no problem whatsoever, so we can all leave Goodison and we can think, you know what, that's the type of performance we want to see at home, that's the type of performance we expect to see at Goodison Park, and we can do it, because Luton have shown this season that, they're struggling at the moment, and they're struggling to keep up with the level of the Premier League, and even against teams that maybe aren't particularly great, your teams like your Wolves, your teams like your Fulhams, even Chelsea at the moment. Chelsea can't buy a point, and yet they absolutely wiped the floor with Luton a couple of weeks ago, so Luton got their first point of the season last week at home against the Wolves team with 10 men. Away from home, they've not had any luck whatsoever. So I don't think it's rude or disrespectful to expect Everton to be able to turn up and win this game tomorrow, especially off the back of the 2 results that we've just had. If we can do that, then it'll be 3 wins in a week. 2 away wins and 1 home win in a week, and then we've got Bournemouth the week after, and if we can go and win then all of a sudden we're going into the international break, 5 games played, 1 defeat to Arsenal and 4 wins. Now, if you'd have said to me before the Arsenal game, right, you can either lose today but win the next 4, or beat Arsenal and keep your home record against Arsenal but lose the next 4, I'd rather win the following 4, obviously. And that now is the expectation for me. Not, oh, well, do you know what? We've beaten Brentford, so, if we don't get a win tomorrow, it's not the end of... Sorry, I've got the hiccups. If we don't get a win tomorrow, it's not the end of the world, etc., etc. No, if we don't get a win tomorrow, then I will be absolutely furious and absolutely fuming, regardless of what's happened, because we will not stay up on 1 win a season. And the expectation is Everton turn up tomorrow and win. And I'm really looking forward to it. I am, I'll be honest. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I haven't looked forward to an Everton game this much in a long, long time, because I just hope, and don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware as an Evertonian that this could go completely against us and we could lose this game, and the expectation of what we think will happen might not actually be the reality of what happens. But I'm just looking at this game thinking what an opportunity this is to turn up, comfortably console a game, win a game at Goodison Park, get the fans booming as well, because, they've seen a win at home and we've won 3 games on the spin, etc., etc., and really kickstart our season and really drag us away from, that sort of relegation area that we've spent far too much time in over the last couple of years. How amazing would that be? How amazing would it be if Everton were just able to turn up and do that tomorrow? And we are able to do that, of course we are, because Luton have shown this season that they're struggling massively in this division, and they're struggling massively against the majority of sides. So it's not like we're not capable of doing it. It's just about being able to do it, and hopefully the confidence and the momentum from the last 2 wins will be on show tomorrow. Anyway, in regards to predicted starting 11s, obviously Sean Dyche has had his pre-game press conference going into this one. He provided us an injury update on Vitaly Mykolenko. He said that he obviously went off injured in the midweek game against Aston Villa, and he would be being assessed as to whether or not he will be fit going into this one. Shame, really, because I think Vitaly's done really, really well in the last couple of games, to be honest. I thought he was brilliant against Brentford, and I thought he was one of our standout performers in what was a terrible, terrible performance against Arsenal. So it is a shame, but ultimately, again, if he's not fit and he's not available, then it is what it is. I'm going to go with Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, that doesn't change, never changes, and probably shouldn't change. I'm gonna go with Ashley Young at left back. I'm gonna go on the assumption that Vitaly Mykolenko isn't fit. If he is fit, I'd have him in there, because, as I said, I think he's been absolutely brilliant in the last couple of games. But ultimately, we don't know whether or not he is going to be fit. So I'd go with I go with Ashley Young. I am going to revert back to a 4 at the back. I know we played a 5 at the back against Villa and it worked so well, but I am going to revert back to a 4 at the back because I just think that's what the manager will do. James Sarkowski and Jared Branthwaite, they are the centre-back pairing. They are the best 2 centre-backs we've got at the football club, and there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why either of them should be taken out of this team. So both of them in there. I'm going to go with Nathan Patterson at right back. I thought Nathan done well against Villa. Obviously, he's had a bit of a struggle this season. He's had, a few ups and downs. He's had a couple of really poor performances, and he's had 1 or 2 good performances as well. But you can only really judge based upon your last performance, and I thought his performance against Aston Villa was fantastic. He was getting forward. Obviously, he was playing as a wing-back in that game, so it'll be different if we revert back to a forward and he's playing as a full-back. But I thought he was very good. He was getting forward. He was trying to create opportunities. He was trying to get shots off. He was putting crosses in the box. I thought, I thought his performance against Villa was one of the best I've seen from him in an Everton shirt. So he is in there for me. I am going to go with the midfield trio of... Oh, it's difficult, this one, because James Garner's been so good, hasn't he? Do you know what? I'm going to go with James Garner, Onana and Doucouré. I'm going to leave Garner Gay out. Now, that is difficult because Garner Gay, statistically has been very good for Everton, and his interceptions and his ball recoveries, etc., are some of the best in the league. But on the basis that I don't think we're going to have a lot of opportunities to intercept the ball tomorrow, because I don't think the opposition are going to have a lot of the ball. I think we will be the team in possession. I think we will be the team on the front foot. I think we will be the team with the confidence, trying to attack, trying to win the game. In that case, I think we would need James Garner a little bit more. His quality on the ball, his quality to find the pass, his quality to, spray a ball into Amadou Onana's feet or into, into one of the forwards' feet, I think is more needed than Garner's ability to recover the ball in this specific game. Obviously, James Garner got his first goal for Everton on Wednesday, and what a fantastic finish it was. And if he can do that again on Saturday, that would be absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, I'm going to go with James Garner, Onana and Doucouré in there. Doucouré, again, playing his best game for the club against Brentford, and Onana probably playing the best game for the club against Villa. And then forward line, this is really difficult, because I really, really want to put Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Beto in the same team, but I just don't think the manager does it. I'm going to go with Harrison one side. I don't know then, because we've got options, haven't we? I thought Jack... No, I'm not. Jack Harrison, I think, will be on the bench. I'm going to go with Danjuma one side, I'm going to go with McNeil the other, and I'm going to go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. And I think Jack Harrison and Beto will both come off the bench. I'd have no problem with Beto and Calvert-Lewin starting. I'd have no problem with Jack Harrison starting. But again, we've got options, and that ultimately is a good thing. So there you go. That's my predicted starting 11. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. We'll see what the manager picks tomorrow. He's got a couple of different options that he could go with. And yeah, for me, this is a game that Everton should be winning. And Everton hopefully will turn up with a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum based upon the last couple of performances and the last couple of results. And, fingers crossed we can just turn up, put a good performance in the Goodison and just win the game comfortably. That's all we want to see. I'm not asked about seeing 5, 6, 7-0, 8-0 with 8 different goal scorers. I'm not asked. Go out there, win 2-0, make it comfortable, and let's sit down, tomorrow evening and think, what, we've won 3 games on the bounce here. We're actually starting to get some form together. Let's hope we can do that. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. We will be back tomorrow with the instant match reaction and the player rating, so don't forget to look out for those. Yeah, if you are new, as I said, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does only take a second. If you've enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Leave your comments down below as well. Be interested to hear what you all think going into this one. Big thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.